Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of a man who was once labeled the boy with the broken brain and how he became a world-renowned learning coach. More importantly, we're going to look at how his methods can help you unlock your own potential.
It really all starts with these words. Imagine being a young boy and your teacher says this about you. This is what happened to Jim Kwik, and this label haunted his early life, but it also became the fuel for his entire life's work. To really get why his learning techniques are so powerful, you first have to understand the struggle he went through. It's an incredible story of persistence. I mean, his childhood was tough. A severe head injury when he was just 5 years old turned school into a daily nightmare. Get this, it took him 3 years longer than all his friends just to learn how to read. And by the time he was 12, multiple injuries to his head were causing these debilitating migraines. So his only real escape was in the pages of X-Men comics. And he saw himself in those mutants. They were totally misunderstood by society, but they had these hidden powers. He secretly hoped that maybe, just maybe, he could turn his own broken brain into some kind of superpower. Well, things really came to a breaking point in college. He was failing, completely exhausted, and on the verge of just giving up. But it was right there in that moment of crisis that he stumbled upon a discovery that would change his life forever. And the contrast is just stark. Before, he was barely passing, looking at getting kicked out of school, and it was taking him 7 hours, just to read a single chapter of a textbook. The turning point came when his friend's father just handed him a stack of books on memory and learning and said, "Read these." And he didn't just read them, he absolutely devoured them. He started practicing every single technique he could find, from memory palaces and mnemonics to things like chunking information. These were the tools that completely turned his grades around and set him on a totally new path. This transformation was so huge that it actually became his career. He started teaching Hollywood actors how to memorize their scripts and even gave talks at places like Google and SpaceX. So the big question is, how can we apply his insights to our own lives? Well, Kwik boiled his entire system down into 4 core principles that really anyone can use to learn any new skill faster and way more effectively. Okay, his first method is a really powerful formula for motivation. And the key here is that it's not about waiting for inspiration to strike you, it's about actively creating it. He actually came up with an equation for it. Kwik argues that motivation isn't something you just have. Nope, it's something you actively generate, and it all starts with 3 key components, the first of which he calls S cubed. So, S cubed stands for small, simple steps. It's like that old story about the person who built incredible strength by lifting a tiny pig every single day. As the pig grew bigger, so did their strength, just a little bit at a time. That's the power of consistency. The second part of that equation is energy. And to have that energy, you have to defeat your ANTs, your automatic negative thoughts. You know, that little voice that says you can't do it? You beat it by replacing self-doubt with positive beliefs, and, just as important, surrounding yourself with positive people who lift you up. And the final component of motivation, well, this might be the most powerful one of all. Your purpose. This is that deep emotional reason behind your goal. It's your why. A powerful why can make you do incredible things. Kwik tells his story about a student of his who read 30 books in 30 days. Why? Because she was desperately searching for a cure for her mother's cancer. That kind of emotional drive is what pushes us way beyond our limits. Okay, so once you've got that motivation engine running, the second method is all about directing that energy. It's about harnessing the power of deep, undivided focus, especially in this world that's just full of distractions. There's a famous story that just perfectly captures this idea. Picture this: Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, 2 of the most successful people on the entire planet, are at the same dinner party. The host asks them to independently write down the single most important key to their success. When they revealed their answers, they had both written the exact same, one-word answer: focus. The big takeaway here is that focus isn't some gift you're born with. It is a muscle we can all train. It's about minimizing those digital distractions. Yeah, put your phone in another room. It's about resisting the myth of multitasking and just doing one thing at a time. And it's even about using simple breathing techniques to calm down that racing mind. All right, let's get into the final 2 methods. These are all about turning learning from a passive act into an active process that makes things unforgettable. The third method is so simple it's almost deceptive, but it is incredibly powerful. Here it is. If you truly want to master something, learn it with the intention of teaching it to someone else.
This literally forces your brain to organize the information and spot any gaps in your own understanding. And the fourth and final method is all about active recall. Most of us try to learn by passively rereading stuff. Instead, Kwik says you have to actively retrieve the information. After you read something, close the book and try to draw a diagram or write a summary, in your own words, or just explain how it connects to your life. That's what actually builds and strengthens the connections in your brain. The key takeaway from Jim Kwik's incredible journey is just this: our brains are not fixed. Our ability to learn isn't some trait we're born with. With the right methods and a little bit of effort, absolutely anyone can learn how to learn better, faster, and more effectively. It's such a powerful reminder that we're not defined by our limitations, but by our capacity to grow. And that leaves us with one really important question to think about. If your brain is a superpower, what are you going to learn today?